the fire line originates at the medial border, which is the medial inside of your scapula, your shoulder blade, and it comes around and latches onto your rib cage like so with a muscle called the serratus anterior. The serratus anterior's job is to protract the scapula, to move your shoulder blades around the rib cage. That's what the serratus anterior does. And then deeply connected and intertwined in the serratus anterior is something called the external obliques. And they're kind of snugged into one another, and they travel diagonally, the fibers of them, downward towards the middle of the abdomen, the linea alba. And the way that the fire line works, and again, let me just specify if you haven't heard this already. The fire line is something I created. It's a kinesthetic chain of muscular activation. So it's a co-activated line of muscle, or a coordinated muscle engagement of several muscles. You can activate these muscles in coordination in order to gain greater access to balance, to strength, and stability. Okay, so you have also flexibility. You have serratus anterior into the external obliques. Through the linea alba, we travel underneath now the external obliques of this side to what's called the internal obliques, which now go down this way to the opposite hip bone. Whenever you contract the fire line, we want to think of the center of power, the center of fire, to be right at the core so that there's a rounding of the back. Then horizontally in that oval, reach forward, 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 pull the rib cage back, drag the opposite knee up towards the armpit. And it's great if you're cross-legged too. That gets the adductors more fired up. And that's the fire line on that side. Okay, round your back. Keep your middle fingers directly in front of your heart and just rotate the spine. This requires that you use your abdominal muscles, maybe your rotators of your spine, but I really like you to focus on abdominals. Turn your belly without turning the shoulders. So without pulling the elbow up like this, don't do this. Just turn the spine, keeping it rounded. Take a full breath in here. Open your right hip slightly away from the twist. One more breath in here. Exhale, release hands to the ground. Okay. Now with your hips back, sit a little bit lower. Still push your heels out and lift your chest up. Lifting your chest up, take your arms in front. Your heart should be more or less upright here, so vertical. Fingertips out in front like you're touching just the fingers, and the index fingers and the middle finger. And now start to think about the fire line being on that oval shape here, this semicircle here. You're going to turn your torso slightly on the diagonal and dip down here. And you're going to notice that the side body here tends to shorten. And I just cued you to shorten it on purpose so that you can feel it. But now, is it possible to keep this rotation here, but then lengthen the side body so that you're actually just this direction here? And then bow like you're going to touch the knee over here with your heart, but don't collapse. Round the back, okay? Then come on up. Let's do it on purpose on the other side. I'm going to show you this direction. So you see the line this way. Now, most of us with an activation of the obliques do something like this, and gravity pulls us this way. We want to create the body this way. So you're actually just trying to get the armpit closer to the knee without collapsing, okay? So it's not about gravity and letting yourself go. It's about activation, which might be very minimal right now, very minimal movement, but activating the fire line is what's important, okay? Come back, place your hands on your knees, slow unwind.